So this is our number 11. This deal right here was interesting in that it was a for rent sign. We called the owner and he said he was not interested in selling because he had tried multiple times and he couldn't sell it. And the reason was it was not a legal duplex. He wanted the price, he wanted the value of a duplex, but it was not a legal duplex. But if you take a look around it, what do you notice? What do you notice? Take a look around it. There's multiple garbage cans, there's 2 entrances.
Does it have 2 meters?
Two mailboxes. The gas meter is 1 meter. Yeah. So I'm over there, I talked to the guy. Well, interestingly, we couldn't get the guy, couldn't talk to the guy. Well, we started making phone calls. We called every lease option because lease options are really easy to convert to seller financing.
Right.
And then we had every for rent sign in the area we were calling. Well, this guy had a property for lease option in Orem. And he had told us no here. So we found his lease option in another city and we said, hey, would you do a lease option on this property? And he goes, yes, but I told you the price that I want. And the price was a little high for a single family home. And I said, great, let's put it under contract. So we came over here, we started a lease option, and I did my little conversion script to seller financing, which he converted. And I said, look, I'm gonna do this. He had a drug addict in the basement, literally. He goes, I can't get the basement person out, I don't know what to do. The top person hasn't paid rent in 3 months, and I just wanna get rid of this thing. And it's easy to get rid of someone in Utah, especially back then. You could get them out immediately, and I said, I'll handle that for you. So we put the offer, it was $146,000, we offered him full price. We gave him a $1 earnest money. I turned to my partner or my assistant and I said, how much money do you have on hand? He pulled out $1 and I said, give it to him. So we wrote an offer, had a $1 earnest money, which the state of Utah requires valuable consideration to have a contract be binding. Made an offer. We had a 30-year seller finance with a 5-year balloon. It's $1 down. And the payment was 80% of what the gross rent should be once we got it rented right. And we made the loan assumable. So I was teaching a class at this time, put it under contract, $146,000. I announced it to my class. That was that first training that we did when I had the yellow signs out or hey, free real estate investment training. People came to an 18-week course, and each week I'd put properties like these in front of them. And a guy that I had there, who was a plumber, he said, I don't have any capital, but I want that deal. And I said, well, what do you have? And he goes, I have 2 cabin lots in Vernal. Are you interested? I said, I don't know. He goes, they're free and clear, and I'll give you the 2 cabin lots if you let me assume the loan. So I said, deal. So we got the 2 tenants out, gave him the cabin lot, or got the 2 cabin lots, and went on our ways. Thought it was hilarious that we were being deeded land for purchase of a property that we didn't really do anything to the property. Had the tenants' deposits that we had to clean up the units, got the new tenants in, got him to take over from there. He was anxious to do more of a remodel because he didn't have a down payment. He wasn't real finicky about his price and the condition of the duplex. So we literally put $1 in and got 2 cabin lots out. Now, while I was standing over there on that sidewalk, I was looking over here, and in this garage right here, there was a for rent sign, but it was against the wall. So they had it for rent recently. And by the way, nobody took the bait. I said this wasn't a legal duplex. So the next one is city utilities. City utilities. And this is one of the ways to do precedents where city utilities in Spanish Fork, they do the electricity and the water. So I went into the city, I said, this has got to be a duplex. They said, it's not. I said, two meters, and it had 2 power meters, but 1 gas meter. Separate addresses, separate garbage, separate mailboxes, and Spanish Fork did the garbage, the water, and the electrical. So I said, can you pull up the power bills to the owner? And he pulls up the power bill. It has 2 addresses on it, and next to the top address it says what? Duplex on the city bill.
Oh, there we go.
So I take that, I walk into the city,
Boom.
and they were like, oh man, these guys hated me, right? I was just bringing duplexes all over. They wrote me up a certificate, and we went from a non-conforming, grandfathered non-conforming duplex to a legal duplex.
Nice.
Just like that. So number 3 was city utilities.
City utilities.
If they have 2 addresses, they're having 2 service addresses. And that's by definition a multifamily project. Ours happened to also say duplex on it, which works just fine for me. Now, while I was sitting over there, we saw a for rent sign in here against the wall. It was in impeccable shape, this city, or this property. For rent was against the wall. It looked vacant. I'm like, man, that looks like a duplex too. If you come around this car here, you can see there's a basement entrance. And so we called the number on the sign, and it was a mom and dad that had passed over time, and the kids, the heirs, were trying to sell it. Of course, when that happens, the kids can't get along and nobody wants to do the same thing, and they end up hating each other. It's just a strange scenario. So I sat down multiple times with 3 of them, and finally got a consensus that they would sell on a price. But we made our offer subject to it being a what? Duplex. Legal duplex, which it was not. I went to the city and said, "This is a duplex." They said no. So I went back and said, "It's not a duplex," put it under contract, went back to the city, and what?
Then you made it.
Got a duplex certificate. So pulled it up, and this one happened to be permit. The permit said duplex on this one. So converted this to a legal duplex. Actually sold this to one of my employees. So one of my employees bought it, moved his family in here. They did an owner-occupied duplex. One of the strategies I work with buyers, they'd call me and want to buy a house, and I'd say, no, you're going to do an owner-occupied duplex. You're going to move in. You have enough of a down payment in your house that you could get a duplex. We're going to get in there. You'll stay a year with an FHA owner-occupied loan. We'll go out and refinance in a year, get you into a house, and now you have a duplex and a house. And they could get a minimal down for their house when they left their duplex. And now they have a rental and tax benefits. And how many more did they want to do after that?
Tons.
Oh, I sold these guys so many properties. So many properties I sold these guys that would do stuff like that. So of course my employees wanted to do it too. My COO bought this, moved in here, refinanced it, moved to a home, and had a rental with a down payment of a single family residence and a legal duplex certificate.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much.